via Tigel, noch ein Kurden, und auch Holzer hat ein Land, was ich gewähnt, ungesehen, ich muss noch mal bewusst, der Dorn, ja, in Polen noch, Simche, stimmt. So dann geholfen in Polish. She started, Rochmalza started in Polish, and then she came here and she started playing Yiddish. She probably started in Poland because she made a film with Jigan and Schumacher, the Freiliche Kapzonim. So that film is still, we have that, so that's wonderful to see them in their younger days. And when she came here, she and Janke Beislitz became the force, and they played something like 5 different plays in a year. So people were used to going and seeing something new in the Yiddish theater, like we go to the MTC now. What's playing this season and so on. So these were the people that lived and breathed theater. Okay, there was no funds. They had no funds for books, even though they called themselves a library. So what happened? They were given a gift of some English books and an old painting of Dr. Hansel. So obviously they were strongly Zionistic already in character. Yeah, that's the parliament. Yeah, that's the Victorian parliament. So, as we say in good old Aussie, a drop kick from the parliament was the Kadimah. Now we've got the shul over there, and we know that the first shul, I think, was on Little Berg Street or something near there. So obviously people lived very, very close to the city. The city wasn't nearly as developed as it is now. But here we come, so we're able to get into Koim Here we are, getting close to 59 Berg Street. We'll see it in a moment. The Kadimah started on the first floor. Now if you're looking, you think that's going to be an old building, it's not. It's been refurbished and it looks quite modern. Now apparently they moved down to the first floor because there was more room, and that happened in 1914. So they started on the second floor. We're just coming up to it. There it is, spaghetti tree. So if you can see on your left, you can see the spaghetti tree restaurant, and the window, you can see it's a modern building, but that's where it was. So they moved to the first floor in 1914 because there was more room, and that's where the library was until 1915. So they spent about 4 years here. This is where it started. That greatly inspired the Yiddish speakers, the Yiddishists of that day, and they became active again. There was still criticism. In 1922, the Kadimah Library was again in the papers, and this is what they said: the books are only in Yiddish and these are Bolshevistic. So that wasn't in an article that was criticizing the Kadimah in 1922. In 1923, however, the Kadimah became very active again, and by 1925 the Kadimah had its first choir. And I love the name of the director, the dirigent is given Mr. Brilliant. He was brilliant. Brilliant. No, Brilliant is a Polish Yiddish word. Okay. By 1926 the Kadimah was strong enough to separate from Chia. And of course the Chia doesn't exist anymore, but the Kadimah does. So it's interesting how history turns. And they stayed on at 313 Drummond Street, Carlton. I think we're really close. Fantastic, you're doing a great job, Trish. I feel tight driving my car through here. I don't know how you do it with buses. Yeah. It's 313 Drummond Street, Carlton. A chess group was established. Now we forget that we used to have a chess club at the Kadimah, even in the 70s, 80s, I think, years. But a chess club was established, and regular Sunday talks were held on topics like Tolstoy and the Yiddish theater, which was then called the Yiddish stage, was organized by Jakob Ginter, who was a professional actor of 10 years experience already from Poland. Now he produced about 35 plays. Here we go, we're coming up. This is it. This is 313. It's a restaurant called Masani. A lovely old building with lovely decorations at the top. And the Kadimah stayed here for quite a few years until they moved to Leigen Street. So from 1915, together with the Hachiya, and this whole area is very famous because the Pram factory was here, and Pinchas Goldgar wrote his stories about this area.
Mitglieder und Kuschelteile Freunds von der Kadimah. Sie vergnügen, dass die Gruppe und die Messer klappen scheuen, dass man einen gesunden Appetit, aber ich will eigentlich nicht formell einen guten Appetit. Will ich ein Keulenkohl, Namen von der Kadimah und Kadimah-Komitee, ein herzlich begrüßen zu der ersten, also zusammen Feierung von 100 Jahren Kadimah in Melbourne. Seid herzlich begrüßt. Ich heiße Alex Dafner und ich habe den Covid zu sein Präsident von der Kadimah Tage in dem wunderbaren Jahr. Die muss verstehen, ich Mammeloschen, those who don't understand Yiddish. Forgive me, I'll do short translations later, but let me get through the opening so it doesn't take too long. Wir bedanken euch Kodenkohl für Kommen, für Beteiligung sich, für Mutschen sich also zusammen auf die Autobussen. Und gesessen haben nach Leute, das hat gesagt, dass sie schon jahrelang, sie ist geboren auf einem Autobus. No, aber das ist mir gesagt, aber nein. Aber heute will ich euch herzlich begrüßen und wir anhalten mit einer Chaim, ein Toast. Und wünschen die Kadimah und uns allein, sich allein, bis 120. Und wir singen das traditionelle Lied zusammen. Lord, mir alle nehmen, Kadimah, Kadimah, und mit einem guten Appetit. Bon Appetit. We'll start with Danielle Charak OAM, Arnold Zable, Yossel Tigel and David Ringelbuch, and then a Saftige trio, which I'll introduce separately after that's tea and cake. Let's not forget cake. Yeah. Und jetzt will ich einladen zum Mikrofon unsere liebe Danielle Charak.
In 1952, Yankif Pat, Yiddish writer, Kulturtour, visited Australia. Many of us remember this visit well. Here is his impression of the Kadimah at alle sind sie gekommen nachher geraten wird von Hohen Polen. Da sind Schireien von die polnischen Tischen, von Gär und Kutne, von Sarne und Plotzk, von Lublin und Białystok, von Warschau und Lodz, von Wilno und von Labe. Bei jedem in Kopf und Herz ein Gemisch von Zerchäunis, von Nostalgie. Da sitzen jeden, wo sie gekommen von die deutschen Lagern, von die Sibirer Steppes, von Turmes, von Kalkhäufens. Gekommen noch alle sehr Gilgulim und Wanderungen in ein Land, wo es ist demokratisch, wo es ist gebencht mit einer starken Arbeiterbewegung. Und man weiß nicht von den Antisemitismus. Man ist da gekommen ein bisschen zu sich. Mehr Wanderung wird man nicht, also glaubt man. Man hat aufgestellt neue Spraches. Es wachsen die da geborenen Kinder. Der Ausweis von die, wo sie dann weg in die Feier. Sitzt man im Saal, zusammengetullete und man schätzt. Also wie am Ruhe in Lublin, in den Australien.
And I'll begin in English and I'll end in Yiddish. Now, if I had to sum up what the Kadimah was for us, the second generation, in the 1950s, whose parents were from the Outer Welt, the scene that came to mind was Sluggo, Shmuley Slutsky's house. Shmuley Slutsky lived in Canning Street. I lived in Canning Street. The Bluestones lived around the corner in Fenwick Street. The Goddanes lived across the road. We all lived within walking distance. But on a Friday night, we would all go to Slutsky's house. It was the smallest house in Canning Street, but it had the biggest heart. It was full of people. The newcomers would come to this little house, and at a certain point, Mr. Slutsky would bring out a bottle of vodka, and his wife would bring out rye bread with borscht. She was the sensible one. And we would all have a toast to the revolution. This was a Buddhische Shabbat. But we would all make our way here on a Saturday night for Yiddish theatre, on a Sunday afternoon for Skiff. On weeknights, we would come here.